Today, we're diving into something, well, it's pretty out there. We're going to explore a vision of the future based on a dimensional shift, drawing from a source known as Orion-Commander-Zero. We're talking about what life could be like in a reality where the very concept of work is gone and our senses are totally redefined.
So, where do we even start with something this big? Well, here's our roadmap. First, we'll get into the core idea, this new sensation of just being. Then, we'll take a tour through everyday life, what food looks like, how you get dressed, and where you live. And finally, we'll try to understand the ultimate goal behind all of this.
Okay, so the foundation for this entire vision, the one thing you have to grasp is this quote right here. Your senses will be 100 times sharper than they are now. Just think about that for a second. The taste of your favorite food, the feeling of music, all of it amplified by 100. This isn't just a minor tweak, it's a complete reboot of what it means to be alive. And that absolutely wild idea of super senses brings us right to our first stop, a new sensation. Because before we can get into the nitty-gritty of daily life, you've got to understand the fundamental change in being human that this source is talking about. The source has a name for this new state of being, the light body. Now, this doesn't mean you become a ghost or some kind of energy being, not at all. The idea is that you keep your physical body, but it's been, well, seriously upgraded. It's like a biological software update that unlocks this insane sensory input and a bunch of new abilities. It's an evolution, not an escape. Okay, so we've got this new light body hardware. How does that change the software of our daily lives? And what's more daily than eating? Let's jump into what the source calls gastronomy without killing.
This is where things get really fascinating for me. The source poses this really simple but kind of profound question, right? If you don't need to eat to survive anymore, then what's the point? What happens when you completely disconnect food from biological necessity?
This slide really just lays it all out. Our world, 3D eating, is all about replenishment. It's fuel. But in this 5D idea, eating becomes pure art. It's not about survival. It's about aesthetic pleasure, about the experience. And get this, the source claims that instead of creating waste, this kind of eating actually leads to cellular rejuvenation. Just imagine that for a moment.
So you're probably asking how? How is any of that even possible? Well, the source talks about tech like 3D food printers that can just create any dish you want right down to the molecule. You get to taste the most incredible food imaginable, and 0 animals are harmed. It also brings up these things called high-vibration fruits that literally repair your cells. And here's the kicker. The whole biological process of, excretion just becomes totally unnecessary. All right, so from what goes in our bodies, let's talk about what goes on them. How do you redefine fashion in a world where your clothes are literally made from your thoughts? Yeah, forget shopping. In this vision, your closet is your own mind. It's described as a pretty simple process, actually. You start with an idea in your head. Then you use your emotions to shape it. Your joy, your calm, your passion. That dictates the colors and textures. And finally, these plant-based biofibers just weave the garment into existence right on your body.
So what this really means is that your clothes are no longer just fabric to cover you up. They become a living, real-time broadcast of your inner state. It's like your aura, your feelings, your whole vibe, made visible for everyone to see.
Okay, we've covered what we eat and what we wear. But what about where we live? Let's get into this concept of bioarchitecture and what it's like to have a home that's actually alive. This quote from the source just says it all, doesn't it? Houses are not built, they are grown. Let that sink in. It just completely flips our entire idea of construction, of what a house even is. So what does a grown house actually look like? Well, the source describes homes that are seamlessly blended with nature, woven together with living crystals and trees. It even talks about anti-gravity tech that would let you float your entire house to the beach or up into the clouds, whenever the mood strikes. And just like with everything else, chores are a thing of the past. Automatic decomposition systems mean you never have to clean again. Okay, so we've got food that just appears, clothes made of pure thought, and houses that can fly. What's the point of all this? Where is it all going? That brings us to our final section, the ultimate goal behind this whole vision. Now, this is a really, really crucial point. The source makes it clear that this future isn't about living some bare-bones, minimalist life. It's the exact opposite.
The whole point is absolute, total freedom, to expand what it means to be human, not to restrict it. And this is the why. This is the whole reason for all of it. To create a world where all the troublesome things, work, chores, survival itself, are just handled. They're automated. And that frees us up to spend 100% of our time and energy on the fun things, on creativity, on discovery, on connection, on just enjoying the experience of being alive.
And so, exploring this vision leaves us with this final, very personal question from the source. It talks about a future creation note and asks, what would you write in it? If there were zero limitations, what life would you design? It's a pretty powerful thought experiment. Finally, an important procedure. The comment section of this video serves as an initial sync test for the 2035 network. By typing ready in the comments, your consciousness data will be indexed in our secure servers. The like button is the approval process. Complete your synchronization now.